I love it, and I think if you're going from the original to this, you're doing yourself great justice.
I mean, when I look at it, I like it, personally. I just think it's a little... The price is a little too steep for that. I think they may have overpriced that a bit.
It is.
But overall, I would say, just like, if you were to take price out of it, it's just an improvement.
Yeah, the fact that it's not totally stretched out graphics.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can notice in some games.
I mean, when you look back at episode 1, my main fear is that, or 2.
Was it 2 or
No, it was 1.
It was 1. Wow.
Because then we answered the comment on 2.
Yeah.
My main fear was just that the resolution would be all stretched out and it looked distorted and whatnot, and that didn't happen. So
I had having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's mainly because it wasn't that great in the first. Like, I mean, the DS has never emphasized the graphics a lot.
Yeah.
But it's important to note that they don't change, the games or whatever don't change the resolution or whatever. It is the same resolution on a bigger screen. But
I was just
make too big difference.
When you go into Paint or Photoshop and you just stretch an image.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that.
That's what I was afraid was going to happen.
You can notice, sometimes you can notice
a little pixelization, but not too
much.
much.
I played Metroid Prime Hunters. That's the first thing I booted up, and in the intro to that game, there's a little glowing ball that falls down from the top screen to the bottom screen.
You can see the pixel rings.
Yeah, and if you look close on the DS, you can see it. But here, I saw a little more. That was the only time I was like, oh no.
So just during particles or light effects, shading.
Anytime they put something really big in, like a really big object or a really big image,
a contrasting shading, like white to black.
Yeah, and it's really large in the screen.
Yeah,
that's when you're gonna see something.
So you probably when you see solar flare.
But when I'm sitting here playing Call of Duty and I'm just popping guys, going down the cover, going up the sights, you don't notice a thing.
Yeah. So it's negligible.
What do you think about the size of the DS XL? Because it is significantly larger than some of the other ones.
It's not too big.
I think it's a perfect size, and I think this is the size that every handheld needs to be from now on. This is why.
I mean, other than the obviously you could flip it.
Yeah.
It's basically pretty much a similar size to the PSP 3000.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's not much bigger than a PSP.
Here's my dilemma that I've had with the DS for a long time. Here, pass me that one. So when I use the old DS, sorry, those of you watching, you can't really see this. I was playing like this, and the thing, I would play playing like this, and I'd be having trouble because it would be holding it with one hand with the stylus, and it would be too small to do this, and I'd be kind of pushing on this a little bit, and it would be kind of hard to hold after a while. But it was too big for that, but it was too small for me to sit on my bed and play like this, and be doing it on my knees, and I'll be playing like this because it just didn't feel right. Don't go there, please. But when I get the XL, I have this, and it's, when I can sit back and I can play it like this, it totally works. It works out. All the engineering problems and all my dyslexia or whatever, I just love the size. I love the screen. I love how I don't have to strain my eyes to the screen anymore. I can be relaxed and I can just play.
I mean, when you look at it's not monstrous. It still fits in your pocket. It's not like it's something...
This thing fits in my pocket easier than I had with the original. This thing is chunky and thick, and it's just
yeah,
it's annoying to
big,
walk
but it's thin.
It's the right shape.
It is. I was doing a physics experiment for class, and I had to run up and down stairs. I didn't even realize it was in my pocket. I didn't even know.
Because when you look at the original DS's design, it had these tapered edges, so it bulked out at the center.
Yeah,
it was big.
That was annoying. I mean, at least for me, now I'm wearing cargo pants, but Levi's 501s or whatever, I'm not a big man. I don't have, big pants and whatever. I mean, it's definitely the size not an issue.
Yeah.
Wow. It just gets worse and worse on the show.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, I would like to say, somebody mentioned that it's similar to, the size of the PSP. I don't think that either the DS or the PSP are really a good size. I mean, I think in one
you think they should be bigger?
I think they need to be smaller, seriously. If you look at, the iPhone, for example, I mean, some people will argue, about it, but, I'm not going to mention the iPad, because that's a whole nother decision. But the iPhone fits in your pocket, perfectly. I really don't notice it, at all. And when I put a DS Lite or even the XL in my pocket, I would definitely notice it, and it's something that's a chore to carry around, I think.
For me, it wasn't. Like honestly, unless I was standing up and then sitting down, that's the only time I really noticed it was there.
Basically, I think.
And of course, everyone's a little bit more sensitive to it, but at least for myself, I thought it might be an issue. It really just wasn't for me.
The problem with me is that I think the handheld systems are big enough to the point where I won't bring a handheld system with me unless I know I'm going to play it. Like,
yeah.
Whereas, like, if I have like an iPod Touch or an iPhone or something along those lines, like I'll just have it in my pocket, you know, just in case or whatever. I would never do that with, you know, a PSP or a DS just because they're kind of big.
I've been carrying around everywhere.
Now let me ask you this. I think me and Twisted are the only two people that don't have a Nintendo DS.
Yeah. I mean, I've played on it. I played only on the original, but
I've never
Your
actually.
siblings have
one of my family members have one, and I'm like, hey, let me check this out. But it never really inspired me to go get one.
See, I never actually played on a Nintendo DS before. I've seen them, like obviously I just saw it.
Yeah.
But like I've never actually played on a Nintendo DS.
You've never played DS?
No, the last
Where
one
have
I
you
played.
been?
The last one I played was actually Game Boy
house.
Advance, not even SP, only Advanced. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I had an SP, but I never played it because I found it.
Well, newsflash, it's been selling pretty well.
So I mean, yeah, like 20 million, I think it was something.
Well, you just make up for playing every other console and every other game that's ever come out ever. So.
And having multiple of those consoles.
So I think
if
it
you
balances.
multiply that.
So what my question is, do you think the Nintendo DS XL is a good enough purchase for someone who's never played a DS before? Or
That's
do you think
a
I
good
should
question.
or do you think I should go with the Nintendo
With a smaller
DSi?
It depends. Okay,
Like,
depends what you want to do.
As I said in the second episode, we were talking about the XL for a little bit. I said how bigger is always better. So I was just wondering, should I? Because I plan on getting it because of the new Pokemon White and Black and all those other ones. Should I get the XL or should I stay with like the I or the original?
Well, there's also the DS Lite, which is basically a brighter screened DS.
That's what I got was the DS Lite, because I'll just give an update. Like, I had an original DS for a while, and you know, I traded it in at one point because I was an early purchaser, and then I felt like there weren't really any games for the system, and then a while later they
Something decent.
They did actually come through with a bunch of games, so I repurchased the DS, and this was at the time that the DSi had really just been released, and I came to the decision that I'd rather just have a DS Lite than a DSi.
Yeah, I think that the upgrade from DS Lite to I was not as great as DS Lite to DSi XL, because it's just the operating system, web browsing without Flash, which is kind of a waste for most people, and and just like the same. Oh, and then losing a Game Boy Advance slot, yuck. But
I think that's awful. Losing a Game Boy, like you're just glancing it over. I think that is.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I think the DS Lite was complete bullshit when they first. I was like, how the hell are you going to get rid of? Honestly, I have far more
DS
Game Boy
Lite still
Advance
has
games
it.
than DS games. There are so many better Game Boy Advance games. They're so important to I just feel it's an integral part of the system having that capability, and I feel taking away is complete bullcrap. I think it was just the dumbest mistake ever.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, that's what I thought. That's why I was going to buy the DS Lite instead of the DSi, because I just thought that was something that was a big deal.
no,
And
for
like
myself,
the DSi, it gives you like the camera and everything. Has any game really
No, not at
made
all.
good use of the camera? Like,
Not really.
brain age and stuff makes use of it like an avatar picture.
For crappy internet, which most people can do on their phones handheld now anyway, and like a camera that is also worse than the camera on your phone. So ultimately you're like, all right, well, let's get rid of the Game Boy Advance slot. Let's get rid of like 100 or so playable games so that I can have a crappy camera which I won't use because I have my phone, and also internet which I won't use because I have my phone. Ultimately, I think it's more of I think they're trying to cut into the phone market, and it's just a failure. I don't know what they're trying to do.
They for the internet, for at least in my situation, I will use the DSi internet more than phone internet ever because of the way my plan works. Like, you gotta understand, cell phone companies, I would have to pay T-Mobile like $25 a month for a data plan. And if I could just buy a DS, like I haven't upgraded since